This podcast provides a platform that will share many different points of views that should empower you, uplift you, make you want to go out and do right. When you hear the term still a man, say, yes, I am. Still a man. Yes, I am. Still a man. Yes, I am. Let's go.
What's up, people? Welcome to another episode of the Still a Man podcast. Tonight's topic of discussion is modern day American slavery. Okay, you're probably thinking, where did this topic come from? Well, about a little bit more than 2 weeks ago, probably like 14 days ago or 15 days ago, there was a story that came out about this news report about this white wealthy couple that adopted 5 black kids and basically used them to perform slave labors. Now, these are not my words. This is what the reporter said, and this is what everybody else is calling it. This is what the articles are stating. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a disclaimer on this before we get started. The views of the panel members are their views and their views alone. They in no way reflect or represent Still a Man platform. However, they are their views. Now, we're gonna respect everybody's opinion and everybody's perspective. So again, we are going to have an open forum panel discussion. So, and everybody's gonna speak their mind, but we're gonna be courteous and we're going to be respectful. And again, I'm gonna say this also, if this topic is too sensitive, please feel free to log out, collect yourself, come back if you care to return. That being said, let's get started. All right, so you know what? Just so we stay on topic, Gregory, with us? Guys?
Yes, sir. I'm right here, brother.
Okay, I'm gonna need you guys to be on point. So again, we're gonna start this conversation off by watching the video so that everybody has some basically knowledge and clarity as to what I'm referring to. Gregory, go on and show us that video.
Zoom meeting.
The words that I'm about to have to say to you. We've got to talk about how a wealthy white West Virginia couple allegedly adopted 5 black children and then put them to work on a farm as slaves. With the 2 whites in question being Donald Ray Lance and Jean K. Whitefeather, both of whom are in their 60s. And I know we're not supposed to judge books by their cover, but I mean, it looks like they were handmade to be the poster children for this story. And as far as how we got to me having to share this unsettling news with you, back in October, one of their neighbors called the police and said the couple had locked 2 of their adopted kids in a shed, and saying the kids were forced to perform farm labor and they weren't allowed inside the main residence. And so the cops, they drive over to see what the hell's going on. And while they found that the parents weren't there, they walk over to this, this locked 20-foot by 14-foot barn, with them ultimately breaking inside and finding a 14-year-old boy and a 16-year-old girl wearing dirty, ratty clothing and smelling of body odor, saying this poor boy had open sores on his bare feet. Police noting that they had a small RV porta potty, but no running water or lights. And these poor 2, they told the police they had been in there for 12 hours since they were last fed, adding that their foster parents forced them to sleep on the concrete floor without any mattresses. With the cops then finding a 3rd kid, a 9-year-old girl, with her reportedly inside an unprotected loft area of the house. And then the remaining 2 kids, who were 6 and 11, they showed up at the house with their monster parents a few hours later. And as far as how they defended themselves, allegedly Whitefeather told police, yes, we lock them in the shed, but they like it, saying, oh, they just treat it like a teenage clubhouse. But notably, the judge in this case not buying it. Instead, saying the kids were targeted because of their race and used basically as slaves. Now, initially, with this, Donald and Jean, they were only charged with child neglect, right? And they pled not guilty to that. But then the prosecutor was like, oh, no, 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 no. And they returned with a 16-count indictment of much more serious crimes, with those including human trafficking of a minor, civil rights violations based on color, race, and or ancestry, use of a minor child in forced labor, and child neglect creating a substantial risk of serious bodily injury or death. And actually, along with that, the prosecutors going after their money, right? Because back in February, they sold their Washington ranch for $725,000. With then 3 days later, Whitefeather's brother paying each of their $200,000 bonds, right? And so assuming they used the money from that sale to post bond, the prosecutor argued that the money was obtained illegally, because they used that property to commit human trafficking. And seemingly, the judge agreed because she put the bond money into protective custody until they resolved the case, and then even raising their bond to $500,000 each. So now they're back in jail. We're gonna have to see how things play out, but I mean, as far as reactions, you see the disgust that you expect, but also you have people wanting more and more answers here.
Never thought I'd see the day that I would actually see real live slave owners.
They wouldn't go out and try to do this from a freaking nice little white family. They would say to themselves, hell no, they're gonna get us for this.
Well, what we're seeing is pure evil. Where was the social worker? Where were the teachers? Now these neighbors are coming out and saying, oh, we saw them working. They were having to do farm work. Well, why in the hell did you not speak up?
And so, of course, I'd love to know your thoughts on all of that insanity.
All right, guys. So now that y'all got a reference, basically something that we have some video footage. So let's stay on topic. Let's stay to the point. Let's go to Dude first. Dude, you with us? Everybody turn your mics back on. Dude, you with us?
Yeah, hold on. Let me fix my phone, guys. I apologize.
All right, no worries. We'll wait on you because I want you to take the first shot at this.
Okay, I'm here. What's up?
Okay.
Now,
You
okay,
see?
the video, right? My fault.
Yep.
The video. Is there a certain question about the video you want to answer?
Yeah,
Want me to answer?
I want you to give me your perspective on this whole this whole thing. I mean, how does it look? How does it sound? This whole idea of wealthy white couple adopting 5 black kids and basically enslaving them. How is happening in this day and age?
Well, it's all been going on because you got to look at the Hollywood people. All their kids are black. Angela Jolie, Sandra Bullock. You can got more. They're all adopting these black kids, and then you hear some stories about them. Not as much as that, but why are they adopting these black kids? They really care that much about us? If they cared that much about us, then they'd take some of the money, invest in our programs or in our neighborhoods and stuff like that. But this is not unusual. This is ongoing thing. They're doing this all the time. This is an ongoing thing, and it's sad.
Not to mention Oprah and Hillary Clinton, right?
Yep. Hey, what they call it? Pizzagate?
Oh, pizza.
You get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that just make me mad. So go on to someone else, Dave. That just make me want to punch somebody.
Okay, well, you over there doing
when you mess with kids like that, when you mess with the kids.
All right, so Gregory, I noticed you mentioned Oprah and Hillary. I'm gonna ask you to keep it to the topic at hand. And we
in CPS, there's a lot of people that got hands in this whole human trafficking, child trafficking thing.
All right, so we're gonna keep it to the topic at hand, and that is modern day American slavery, and we are talking about as it relates to these this wealthy white couple that adopted the 5 kids. I want to keep this topic on point. I don't want to make it too broad because I want to make sure we give this story the necessary attention that it needs and deserves. So I'm going to ask you the same question. Based upon that video and that news report, how do you feel about that? How is this possible to be taking place in this day and age?
Like Dude said, it's a lot of dirty work going on. It's a lot of people that got hands in it, and it's making it invisible, so people don't see that going on. But it's really that going on, just like it's a sundown city still in America, in the suburbs, in the urban community. In the suburbs, you might have people that can get away with things more than the people in the urban community because we're watched a little bit more.
So are you saying that,
Wake up out of here.
well, I'll come back to you about that. Let me give everybody else a chance and then I'll address that.
Yeah.
Tanya, same
Yeah.
question. How do you feel about this wealthy white couple adopting these five black children and enslaving them?
I think that is despicable. And how is it said? Evil, evil doesn't go, it hides. Evil hides like a sheep, a wolf in sheep's clothing. It hides. And so these people, I bet you they, now I'm gonna leave it to that. It's just despicable. And it's hard to believe that in this day and age that is going on. And I have to agree with you on one aspect. It makes you give these celebrities a second look that trying to put on the face that they doing good and by adopting these children from these countries and not financially supported. I just think that it's inhumane.
All right. Timmy, you with us? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, same question as everyone else. If you've seen the video, just going to give you a question. How do you feel about this wealthy white couple adopting these five black children and enslaving them?
All I have to say is, that's the shit that these Republicans trying to bring back by taking women's rights away. And if your boy Donald Trump get back in there, he plan on taking kids doing the same shit that he did before. Concentration camps and all this shit. So anytime people do that nonsense, they don't have the kid's best interest, and the system is messed up for the kid because the CPS or CFF people, Department of Family Service, these people do not care about the kid's best interest at all. And they would if those kids were in a black family, don't you know they'll be on their ass checking and making sure things. But when it comes to rich white folks, they don't bother. They automatically swear up and down that they're gonna do the right thing and take care of the kids, and they're the worst because they can hide shit because they got money.
Okay. Well said. Well said. Patsy, how do you feel about this wealthy white couple that adopted five black children and basically enslaved them?
It's horrible. It's, you know, if it was like an urban white couple that might have been like middle class, at the prospect of higher low income to middle class, they be watching them folks like hawks. But since it's out in the suburbs or the country or whatever, and they had plenty of land, they weren't being watched as closely. So and obviously they could actually do stuff and then you got the two older kids, the teenagers, locked in a shed and want to claim like, oh, they like it there. That's like, okay, how does two teenagers like being locked up in a shed? I
Well,
would have
shit, Patsy, if they like it, we love it.
exactly. You know, you know. Oh my God, that's ridiculous. I know we went to camp, but we were never locked up in no cabin or trailer or whatever. You know, and we weren't being enslaved or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So no, that's unacceptable. You know.
All right. Kiana, you with us? All right, let's give Kiana a moment because she's out and about. All right, I guess she is not online. All right, let's go to Itzima. Itzima, how do you feel about this situation? This wealthy white couple that adopted 5 Black children and enslaved them.
It's disgusting and it shows how the system fails us. That's it.
Straight to the point. All right, so those of you that I called upon, if you happen to pop in, just let me know when there's a break in the discussion, and I'll come back to you. All right, Robert, same question. How do you feel about this wealthy white couple adopting 5 Black children and enslaving them?
Clear as my water can get. Could you hear me?
Yes.
No, I can't hear you.
Well, I'm gonna try to help your disability out. Now, it goes like this. These people are goddamn down to the dirtiest dog pit evil. They adopted these children with a plan. You guys might not see the plan. You got to read in between the lines. You got the teenagers in a dark, no type of electricity, lockdown barn. You know what that is when the lights go off, you're locked down. They're trying to have those 2 teenagers they adopt have sex, make babies, so they can get more kids out of that and have them do more work for them. Move down to the little kids, they got them in the goddamn, I'm gonna set the lobby, somewhere in their house while they're out with the middle-aged kids. This is really, really bad. I don't know how they got it done without the help of DCF. The school teachers not giving a care in the world. You got doctor's appointments they should be keeping up with. They probably never was going to. So some of the police in that damn county or wherever the hell they are, Virginia, they could have all been involved so this can be possible. It was only going to get worse, but I blame the neighbors too, along with the teachers, the doctors, the DCF social workers, because if you seen this going on for 20 minutes, one day only, you should have been like, oh, these 2 white older people, these kids are coming out to just do farm work. When they're done, they lock them in that
Had
damn
them
barn.
boys in the field.
They lock them in the barn. These other 3 kids, you know, you got one younger one and maybe a 9-year-old and such other age whip you out in the streets. What were you gonna do? Buy some more like feeding for the maybe your plants you're trying to grow or what animals you might be raising on your farm? Because I yet to hear if they have animals on a farm, but I'm believing it's a farm. You probably have some chickens. You probably was growing, you know, your crop like your garden. I just think that's disgusting, and it only gonna get worse because this ain't just happened. This is just a story that has been brought to the light. This has been going on for a while.
All right, so did everybody get a chance? Let me try Kiana again. Kiana, are you with us?
And you got Bird with us.
Yeah.
All right, so Kiana's still not there. Bert, welcome. So have you seen the video or heard about this wealthy white couple that adopted the 5 children and Black children and enslaved them?
No, I haven't heard about it, or I didn't get to see the video. But and everybody's making valid points. It's just Mr. Clearwater said it. This ain't the only person. This ain't the only situation. This is just what's been exposed. They're living in modern day slavery now, working, jail, welfare, all that shit's all modern day slavery.
So let me enlighten you guys. So allegedly, this situation started in Washington, and then there was some accusations made, and I'm not certain if that is the reason why they fled Washington or relocated to Virginia, but there was already accusations being made about gross conduct.
So they got two farms?
I'm not
They
certain.
they sold one of their farms for $700,000.
So let's
Oh,
talk
these
about
people
that.
thought they was
That's-
untouchable.
So the farm they bought.
That was after.
Yeah, that was after they got arrested. So the judge gave them a bill of 200 and some odd $1,000, and they sold the house for 700 and some odd $1,000, and they both paid their bill. So it was actually the woman, White Feather's brother, that posted their bill. Then the judge decided to seize the bail money because he said it, for all they know, it was money that was made due to ill-gotten gains, probably from the slavery of the children. And that's why he seized the money. Now they raised their bill to $500,000. So I feel like that in this situation, even with the judicial system, everybody is out to get what they can get out of the situation, because these people are wealthy. If they came up with the $250,000, they're definitely going to come up with the $500,000 per person. And the fact that the judicial system got to seize that money, I think they're going to take the $1 million too, when they post bill, because I don't think that there's a question of if they are going to be able to raise the funds. I just think it's a matter of when they raise the funds. Let's go back to what Itima said earlier. So it's the DCF, Department of Child and Family. They failed them, I believe. I feel like how does this slip through the loops and stuff like this? How are they making these eligibility, like how are they determining who's eligible for adopting children?
Hey, you got money, you ain't got to be eligible for shit. You got fucking money. Money talk. Money makes things happen. So you ain't got to have no goddamn. They do it to middle class people, but people with money, they ain't going through the bullshit that somebody middle class that's looking to give a home to unfortunate kids. They ain't doing all. They're not going through all the paperwork. They pay this a certain amount of money, and because who they are, and they know that they got money, they gonna push papers through. Some papers they ain't got to sign. I guarantee you, it's gonna be illegal documents that wasn't proper documents.
Okay, stay right there. Bird, I asked you that. So do you think that their wealth gave them certain allowances so that they was able to just pass through?
I believe, yes, they probably bought their way through. They ain't passed through nothing. They bought their way through. Whoever allowed some of that might have got a kickback on that. You know what I mean?
I tell you.
Be the middleman, or you can go past the middleman. But this was introduced. I guarantee there's other cases are gonna come out.
Yeah.
I think so. Gregory,
Money bought their way in.
Gregory, do you think that the couple greased a few palms, paid some people off, and then they just got to had their pick of who they wanted?
Well, I don't think so. On the contrary, I think it's like the same way that they allow it to be sundown cities where a black person can't be out there after dark because they might get hung still, and this stuff is still going on. It's the same way that they're allowing something like that to slip by. You're not supposed to be around here. You wasn't even supposed to figure this out. That's why the neighbors said we seen it sometimes, but they didn't report it. So it's a little deeper than the money thing. It's what the whole town is allowing. These are suppliers in the city. It's a farm, so they're distributing stuff from their farm to the whole city, wherever the hell they're at. And it's crazy that they're in West Virginia. So these people are living. It's a way of life like that for them. They don't give a goddamn that their neighbors had some slaves in it. They probably got some slaves under their farm.
Hmm, hmm. So you just think that this is just a colony of slave owners?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's why the DCF people down in that area turned a blind eye to the black people being out there and not going to check on them and make sure that they're living right. It's crazy if DCF was checking on them, they would have been taken away from the family.
But you know what? I have to kind of give some credits to what Gregory is saying, because that project I was telling you about earlier, day 2025. I think some of the initiatives that's in that project has to do with deregulating like family child care services, healthcare, releasing the guardrails on that, where they could do whatever they want to do.
Yeah, a lot of these new laws that they're trying to put in place are basically giving wealthy people carte blanche. They can just basically do as they please. Their wealth is gonna give them basically immunity. They're gonna be bulletproof in some situations. So Tanya, let me stay with you. So do you think that the money, their wealth, made them eligible to be foster parents and then ultimately adopt these kids?
Yeah, I think so. I think their money bought them in, and whoever was the person that held that had their case that was helping them along, she needs to be looked at too, because like Berkeley said, or who was that? Timmy said there's probably some paperwork that should have been filed that wasn't filed. They didn't do an in-depth investigation, you know, of social acuity, you know, the how to see how they would gel with the kids, you know, what kind of knowledge they had about their culture and things like that. You know, we got to do an in-depth investigation when you adopt and mix.
Because they do it to us if we was trying to adopt a kid.
Yeah.
You guys gotta remember. You gotta remember when you're doing something like this, it's almost like what somebody did to their family. They have people on payroll. This person over here in this area is gonna make sure I get through. This other person over here in this area is gonna make sure no one really looks at this situation. These people over here, they're gonna keep their mouth shut as long as we put something in it. There's a lot of people watching each other's backs for benefits.
So let me bring Dude back in here. So Dude, do you believe that wealth was the only thing that you need to be eligible to become a foster parent and ultimately adopting these black kids? Let me say it a better way. Do you think that this white couple's wealth made them eligible to be adoptive parents of these black children?
Just the fact that there was white made them eligible. Forget the money. The money only makes it a lot easier without all the paperwork and red tape and all the other BS. But just for the fact that they're white, it was easy for them, and making it rich makes it even super easy for them, because we all can have good jobs and good outstanding citizen to the neighborhood, to the community, the police. But if we want to go adopt a child, they're going to give us a hard way to go and a long way to get there.
All right, so stay right there.
Wait a minute, Dave, and ask this. Wasn't them people like in their 60s
Yes.
Wouldn't DCF say, hey, you're like 67 years old. This is a 16-year-old, 15-year-old, 14 going on 16 or 15. What could you do for them as parents when they need you to do teenage things, to play football, basketball, ride a bike, go swimming, do all these adventurous things that a teenager might want to do, let alone the 9-year-old, let alone the 6-year-old? How are you going to keep up with their youth?
All right, so let me basically incorporate that into my next question. So you got a lot of people when I was doing some research that was saying that race has nothing to do with this, and we're making too much.
Robin, excuse me, Dave.
Hold on, Tim.
Robin, they have things, they have programs. So any state kids, any kids that's in foster care, they get all the first dib of every damn thing. I'm talking about YMCA, summer camp, uh, after school programs, sports, whatever they want to get into, they got first priority.
All right, so that's some of the services that they're eligible for. But what I was saying was, during my research, there are people that are saying, the black race is making too much of this situation. It has nothing to do with race. We're just hypersensitive where it comes to anything concerning color. And based upon what Robert said, do you think that that should have been like the age part about it, that should have been a predetermining factor if they was eligible? So I'm asking you a twofold question. Do you think that age has anything to do with the requirements of those parents? That should have been an issue. And
Yes.
you say to the fact that they're saying that this has nothing to do with race. It's we're just hypersensitive when it comes to things like this.
Now, to me, the older, and not all, I'm just, because I'm just projecting, like, because we look from the old time. But to me, the older the white person is, the more they're susceptible to racism.
Okay.
Now, if they were a younger couple in their 30s, those people who change and stuff like that, that's different. You know what I mean?
So,
Because
Yes, sir. The new age. We're not like those people. Those people.
Go ahead, dude.
No, because when we grew up in the projects, I knew 3 white women that I respected, and from them 3 white women taught me how to respect other white women. That's my auntie Barbara, Miss Blake, and Bird's mother.
Mm-hmm.
And they had, and I heard stories.
Miss
From,
Weiner.
yeah,
Miss Weiner.
Yep. And I heard stories from Weenie and Charles and his mother that when they lived in Charlestown, South Boston, they got kicked out of there. That's why they end up in Franklin Field, because even though the mama was white, they didn't want the black kids there either.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So again, what do you say to those individuals that said this case has nothing to do with race? We're just hypersensitive when it comes to matters like this.
Well, Stevie Wonder could see that had to do with race.
Okay, Bert, let's get your perspective on this. How you feel about these individuals and stating that race has nothing to do with this case? And should age be a predetermining factor for adopting children?
I don't I don't think age should be a factor because there's many grandparents raising young babies that can do a better job than the parents itself.
No doubt.
But what you're able to provide is a home and love and whatever, no matter what age you are. And I think in that particular state, race was definitely a factor because that's a way of living out there. You got to get your farm dealt with. You don't want to pay the white people to do it. So you'll slave the less empowered, and some people appreciate that little bit they get just to have a home and food to eat. And the system is designed for that.
Okay.
But the system is also so overcrowded, so overpacked. You got a caseworker with 200 kids on their caseload.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen cases here in Massachusetts, kids were dead, and their caseworkers were filling out paperwork that they were doing monthly visits there.
Oh.
Mm.
And the kid was actually dead. But you were lying and falsifying paperwork, and it's just, and then they chalked all of that up as the system is so overcrowded, there's so many kids in care, and they release many respite foster kids to older people to foster them until they can find a placement.
Wow.
So I don't think age they really may not see unless you can't walk.
Mhm.
Right,
Alright.
because I don't really think age has anything. If you got the love,
Yeah.
and you know, sometimes it could, depending on the personality of the kid, you know, because you know he can overpower, he or she can overpower the elderly at 60 something years old, and, you
Yeah,
know.
and at 16. And T, taking factor what dude said. He said, if you're 67 years old, already you know you lived a long life. You don't experience racism. So if you yourself still could be carrying that
Racist.
in your inner heart. But now check
No
it. The
doubt.
other part to that is this is a black kid. Could you at 67 years old keep up with a teenager or down to the 6-year-old and 9 to teach them anything about their black culture?
Okay, stay right there. Stay right there. Itama. So let's go on because y'all pretty much answered all the questions. Itama, do you want to shot at that last question, or you want to go on to the next?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go to the next one? Okay.
Yep. Go
Alright,
ahead.
so this is the next question, like what Robert just said. So do you think that it should be like when we get people that adopt black children, do you think that a part of their pre-qualifications that they need to like have somebody like I say foster them, like foster the foster parents, whereas it comes like to the culture of the child that they're adopting, because there's a lot of things that they're going to be uncertain of, because we are not the same. People's you have cultural biases, and you have necessities when on nurturing, like for here and other things, and sometimes dietary factors as well. So do you think that when you adopt a child outside your race, that they should basically have somebody from we're talking about the black community, like basically foster that family to help them, make the transition, get acclimated with the child and what they need.
They're supposed to.
Hold on to me, I'm asking you to.
It should be, but it should be, but I don't think it necessarily needs to be, because I think that if the person is really in it for the kid, for the kids, then they're gonna actually do the research and make sure that that kid learns about their background. So I don't think that necessarily the child should be adopted into, because now that's just racism. You get what I'm saying? Where you picking and choosing where the child needs to go because he's black. Now he needs to go to a black home. You get what I'm saying?
Got it.
As far as like, if they're in it to adopt the child because they care about the child, then they're gonna do the research, the necessary research. They're gonna have to get it and teach the child about their background.
Got it.
Without a problem.
Good answer. Good answer.
And it also helps if they stay in touch with their immediate family. Just because you're adopting doesn't mean that you can't stay in touch with your immediate family. As you see on Wednesday Kids, a lot of them request that they stay in contact with their immediate family, their siblings.
But sometimes that's not always available, because sometimes they was removed from home because they were being abused. And so those stipulations are put in place where they cannot contact their immediate family.
All right, Patsy. Yes, Patsy. Let me ask you this question this way. How do you feel about let's say white parents that adopt black children or other ethnicities and say, well, I'm not raising a black child, I'm raising a child.
Yes, it's okay to say that I'm raising a child, but you have to put in play and be mindful of who that child is, what color, race, or and everything, because if they've already been learning about certain things about their ethnic background, whether they're black, they're Hispanic, or even if they adopt someone who's Jewish, they often, like by 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, they already learned a lot of that stuff through their parents. So you have to figure that out and kind of see where that child is with what they know about who they are as a black child and what their understanding of what their race is. So that way you can encourage and nurture their education and their feeling like, okay, these people that are taking care of me really truly do care about who I am as a person, not just a child of color, but as a person of color. And they want to nurture my needs, not just my wants, but what my needs are. Everyone has needs, no matter how old you are or what your background is. We all want to feel accepted and loved. And that's what you have to do, is like really cater to their background. That's how I feel about it. And really as a parent, you have to learn about it too,
Mhm.
All right.
Tanya, let me ask you this question. Do you think that when black children are adopted by people outside their race, they are forced to assimilate and then they lose their culture?
Um, I'm gonna answer that question this way. I think that if a white couple is adopting adopting someone of another race, of the black race, they can teach them all that they can teach them educationally about their culture and the history uh, of blacks, but you need to have an African American liaison. I'm going to put it that way, where she could be their contact, on stuff that they don't know. She can educate them on, but only she will be able to tell him about the black experience. His adopted parents won't be able to tell him about that. They won't be able to tell him about what it feels like driving while black. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And what you're going to have to go out there and face. They might not feel comfortable with talking about that.
Okay. Well,
because it's a tough conversation that people are having a hard time having today.
Dude, same question. Do you think that black children that are adopted by races outside of their own, do you think they're forced to assimilate and basically lose their own culture?
Well, real talk. Being in this society, in this culture, we all lose our real culture. But that they definitely losing that, because then you got to think. Because I know a lot of people. I lived out in Lynn, and there's Lynn. When I lived out in Lynn, that was the first town I ever seen all these mixed kids.
Mm-hmm.
Half of these white women did not do the black girls' hair or black boys' hair, or vice versa. It's just crazy. They need not just white, not just black people. Every culture needs their own. How can I? They need to be in touch. Even if you're not living with them or whatever, you need to be in touch of where you can. Because if you don't know where you came from, you don't know where you're going. So you have to know where you came from. So it's very important that any child of any race has some kind of are in touch with their culture some sort of way.
Okay, well said, well said. Bert, next question. So there are people that say that why are Black people so boisterous about white people adopting Black children? If they care that much, why aren't they adopting them? And why are there so many Black children that need to be adopted?
I don't even know what you just asked me.
I'm gonna give it to you again. So there are people outside the Black race that want to know why we have so much to say about white people adopting Black children, and why aren't
Right.
we adopting them, and why are there so many Black children that require adoption if we can?
I can agree with that shit. Unfortunately, most of the kids are removed from the home based on, I think someone mentioned abuse,
Yeah.
physical abuse, sexual abuse, mental abuse, or unfortunately your inability to provide for a child, which could be drugs, right? Most kids are taken by the state when kids are born with, mental disabilities from, drug addiction.
Mhm.
And I'm going to tell you, if many Black people cared, how many Black people are adopting Black children?
And Black people got to stop
That's
wanting people in their business all the time, because that's why they don't adopt. 'Cause I don't want them people at my house. I don't want them in my business.
but yet
White people tell
complain
all the
because someone else is adopting them.
Exactly.
So they're in their business just like they're in yours. Either your business is a little bit funky that you don't want them around there. Not to say you don't care, but most families are given an opportunity to take on a child. They rather give the child to a family member opposed to putting them in the system. The system can't really provide what someone in a home can. So these group homes, people are getting beat, molested, residentials, all of those things aren't healthy. So they want to pass the buck and not support these kids no more and send them off to someone else to do it. But I'm going to say the same thing for those people that are complaining that much about, white people adopting Black kids. How many Black kids do you have? Did you pick up? Did you take on? Did you help out? Did you show love? Did you show culture? Did you show any of this? You didn't. But complain when the next people, and not every person that adopts a kid is treating them bad. These scumbags in Virginia are just that, exactly what I said, scumbags. There's loving families, and it shouldn't matter what race you are. I'm adopting you into my family, right? I'm not going to show you, I'm going to show you the love for my culture. I'm not going to be overly, I guess, influenced to teach you about your culture. The schools don't even teach Black people about their culture but 1 month a year.
Right.
So, it's designed in a shitty way, but I'm going to bring you into my home. I'm going to teach you my house, my culture, my rules, my way of living, my everything. Whatever you want to learn about culturally, if you come to me, hey, you know anything about that? Well, hey, come on, let's go research. Let's look into it. Am I going to willfully just employ your culture to you? If you have questions or concerns, hey, let's get together and look it up. I'm not sure, but I'm willing to learn with you. Let's learn it together. Or if I don't already know something about it.
That's love. That's the
you
love
may have to pull this kid. This kid might believe his culture ain't shit because they abandoned me. People of my culture left me in a group home somewhere, or gave me up for adoption, or I'm born with disabilities because they didn't want to stop using drugs, or you're pregnant with me.
Yeah.
So, some Black kids get brought into that white culture and become culturally changed. You may not believe in your culture because you see this culture and they embrace you and they love you and they this way, or if you get the reverse effect and they treat you like shit, then yeah, you'll groove more to your culture. But taking you out of an element that was bad and bringing you somewhere good, I have some mixed feelings. Like, I can agree with some of it for the people that have this problem, that they see it's a problem for white families to adopt Black kids, not to abuse them and make them work on a farm or slave them. No one's agreeing with that, white, Black, green, or yellow. Unless you're like a racist, like, hell yeah, I'm going to get me a nigger to steal my crop. And those people that let all of that stuff slide, they're getting something on the back end behind that.
Mm-hmm. All right, Tanya, I'm gonna let you answer it.
What was the question again?
So the question is, how do you feel about the individuals that saying black people have too much to say about white people adopting black children? If they care so much, how come they're not adopting these children?
Well, I'm gonna say that some. I'm gonna say it this way. I'm gonna answer there's so many children, black children available for adoption this way first, because there's a lot of broken homes, a lot of fathers that are absent from their lives, a lot of parents that can't go to school and get education. They have to drop out because they get pregnant, they gotta take care of their kids, and they gotta get jobs. And so it's the system has broken it where we are always down and striving to get out the barrel. Some people, Black Americans aren't financially stable to adopt.
But you get assistance from the government to adopt.
Right.
I don't think they're knowledgeable about that. I think
Some people know.
Yes,
Some people take on foster kids and adopt kids for that money. They know what they're doing.
Take it, Bird.
I think
They
black
know there's
kids
money
should
there.
be prioritized towards
You
black
already know
families
that's what's going
like
on.
they do to the white kids and the Asian kids. That's why you don't see too many black families with a little Asian kid when they adopt. They usually have a black kid, or if they're living a different type of lifestyle, they might have a white kid, but they're probably getting investigated compared to the white person that might be able to just get a little black kid and have them in the household easily and not be watched and have
They're not going to
DCF
let a single
visit
black
them every
parent
week.
adopt a child. There's got to be a stable home. There's got to be a 2-parent family, and there's not many of those out here.
That's right.
Now
There's not many
for
2-parent
that I was
families
gonna
out here.
give you this, like she was just saying about the crabs in the barrel thing, and then you got the suburban and the urban thing. So you got people like that because they did this experiment. When you have these rats in bad conditions, right, and they're piled up on top of each other in a city environment, and everybody's trying to get to the top. You'll have mothers start to kill their babies. You'll have the fathers trying to kill each other, and this is an experiment they did. They took the same rats that they had in the bad environment and put them in a good environment, and everything changed. So when you look at that aspect of people getting their kids taken away and all this bad stuff happening, and this is why this is exactly what they planned. It's a plan. It's in motion.
Okay. Tanya, you want to finish with
Reality, it's not a plan.
I pretty much said what I had to say about that situation.
Okay, let's get Robbie back into the conversation. Robbie, how do you feel about what people are saying that, basically they're saying, why are black people having so much to say in regards to white people adopting black children? If they care that much, why haven't they adopted the children? Why are there so many black children that require adoption?
Let's just put it in order. Why are there so many black children out here that need to be adopted? Why are black people building up the nerve to complain about white people coming saving some of the black kids that don't have a loving and providing home? I think that, excuse my dogs, they like the spotlight too.
We don't care about the dog.
I think that these people, if you care that much about what the white man and the white woman is doing, why don't you get your black woman and yourself down to the adoption agencies and try to put in whatever paper? Hey! I'm talking. I'm the only one that's doing some work around here. If you want to feel important and do something great for the children that need a home, you too can go outside your house to the agencies and try to adopt children and save some kid or save some children, provide for them, give them the love, give them everything that they deserve in life because they didn't ask to be here. You can't be mad at someone else doing something that you too can try to do yourself. I'm gonna say for so many kids that need to be adopted is because something went wrong in their home. It could have been abuse. It could have been that this lady just didn't have the right amount of funds to take care of herself and three other children. She wasn't educated well. She there's ways of getting educated, but because she got three kids that she got to provide for, she might not be able to have a steady babysitter that's gonna watch them if they're not old enough to be in school. And then some cases they could be old enough to go to school, but she doesn't have money to buy them the clothes that they're gonna look right to sit in the classroom with other kids that's being taken care of right without her kids being singled out and
for all of
cracked
that.
on. So there's a lot of reasons why there's children outside their house. I'm not gonna just say abuse. I'm gonna say some people can't afford them. They was too young when they had them damn kids anyway. A lot of children had children.
They have the system to provide you with financially to take care of your kids, but like you say, when they have them young, they haven't had a chance to be young, and now
Yeah.
you may have a chance, but not many people are giving up kids in that notion. Majority of kids are being taken out of homes, abusive homes, or neglectful homes.
And then it's a system, though, B. After they get taken out that home, they go to these wealthy families and end up getting abused. It's a whole thing about this.
You're right, but
A
they
lot
when
of
they
them
take your
don't go
kids,
to
when they
wealthy
take your
families.
kids out of a home, they will give you an opportunity to get yourself together to get your kids back.
Right, exactly.
There's an opportunity,
That
but
was
many don't
now.
take that opportunity.
Okay,
That
so
was
But there's
now.
a
It
whole
wasn't
bunch of
like that
black
back
and
then. When
brown
they
kids
took the
that go
kids out of the
missing in
house
that
back
system.
then, they were done. They couldn't go back and get the damn kids back then. Now they giving them chances because of what was going on back then of
Right.
the
They're taking you
abuse
out the
and
house.
shit.
Gregory,
I mean,
finish.
abuse sexually, you're not never going back to this house.
I think it's
Right,
Maybe
more
even
right,
field
physical abuse.
stories
I
in
don't
that
think you're
right.
going
system
back to
than
the house. A lot of it is
success.
drugs.
Exactly.
These kids are, being born off a drug addicted parent.
Mhm.
And now you have a kid that's mentally, physically disabled that they don't want. So they put these kids out for other parents. I mean, white people have done it too. They put their kids in Fernald State Hospital that were born with, developmental or physical disabilities. They didn't
Right.
want that kid. So they dumped many kids. They dumped thousands of kids into the system because of their mental disabilities or physical disabilities or birth defects or something like that. But not many white families are, they are now, they're taking kids away because these kids are, basically addicted to drugs when they're born.
Okay, so hold on, everybody hold tight. Gregory, I want you to finish your thought, and then I'm gonna go to Itima. Go, Gregory.
Oh no, I was finished.
Okay, Itima. Do you think that these services like these programs, DCF and foster homes and stuff like that, do you think that they have that it's racist, that they have a lot of people that's preconditioned, they think a certain way, they behave a certain way, they've been basically taught to be harder on black people than people of other ethnicities? Eats, are you still with us?
You got app with us too.
All right, so hold on. We'll bring him right into the conversation. Welcome. So Elijah, let me give you the question. Do you think that these systems such as DCF, foster homes, all these type of services like that, do you think like they are preconditioned or they're taught to be harder on the black families when it comes to adoption and taking the children out the home, giving the children back?
I would say they're more, I won't say racist. I would say it's more have a paint a narrative. And it has also, like, for instance, I was saying the questions that you was asking before. You know, there's a lot of black people. I always say, who's doing the counting? There's a lot of people out here homeless, but I know when I went to the West with Dude, I pays attention and I knows there was a lot of brown people that was homeless. You know what I'm saying? Too? Brown people. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I noticed there was a lot of brown people that was homeless. You know what I mean? Mexicans, Indians, you know what I'm saying to you? Same with in Detroit too. You know what I mean? So that adoption, black people, you know what I mean? If you paint a narrative that we really need help, and if we don't know the statistics on us, our own people, we really will go for that narrative or we really need help. And when the factor is, nah, we don't need help, they need help. You know what I mean? And they try and paint a narrative that we need help. When it comes to prejudice in the system, when it comes to racism in the system, no prejudice, definitely. You know what I mean? They go with the demographics, they go with the drugs act, go with they embalm and make sure they can do their cleanup. And when they do their cleanup, that's when you get the casualties of children or, you know what I mean, abusive domestics, whatever that they cause. It's hard to be racist in that type of system. Like it ain't like you're locking up people, but it can be definitely can be prejudice or stereotype.
Same
And the
question.
system is
Do you?
designed, they would like to place black kids with black families. They would like to, but the harsh reality is we talk, not many black families are looking to adopt kids because they have their own kids and their own struggles, and to take on another mouth is difficult.
Yeah,
When you
to
have
be honest
someone with
with you, hold on, check it out, right, Bird? To be honest with you, it's our records. Sometimes our police records, or you know what I mean, how we was in the past. You know what I'm saying too. That when you do try to adopt, or like my father adopted my uncle, my two little cousins. So it was a lot of procedures we had to learn about, you know what I mean? But when it came for me to take my stepson, I was going to adopt him temporary, you know, because of my background, the temps and stuff, I couldn't take them. So a lot of times it's because of our backgrounds why we can't take these kids. And again, it's just another setup or another stumbling block.
So again, that goes back to my initial question. Do you think that these organizations, these services are racist?
no.
How can it be racist if you're fucking up in life and you ain't knowing that when you get older, there's going to be an emergency that you're going to have to step up or be responsible, but they're going to use your fuck up that you did as an adolescent or in the past against you. You know what I mean? It's just a double-edged sword on that one, man.
Yeah, I mean, and some people have changed their lives. They've had a rough past, made some mistakes, and in 20 years, I haven't picked up a charge or I haven't done anything illegal that would bother me. But yeah, they can use that as a crutch. But you got to give everybody deserves a second chance, just like that kid in the system deserves another chance to be, loved by somebody. Someone that does make mistakes in their past shouldn't be held accountable for something that happened 10, 15 years ago. You're not that same person. Now, if you got a
It's
charge that was a year old and you're trying to get a child, then that's something you didn't plan on. But, change is inevitable for people. We're all changing.
but it's
So for them to
easier when
judge
it's
you,
my fault. It's easier when it's family. You can, okay, I had a misdemeanor or whatever, but with families, my cousins, my little brother, grandmoms, whatever. But if it's like, okay, a young black family, had some troubles in the past, but they've been strained, like you said, 15 years, and now they see they want to adopt a little boy, and the boy got a sister, they want to adopt a sister too, and they're looking at them like, oh no, you can't have them because this passed, and then you got to do a year investigation. A lot of time, black people, or a lot of people don't have the patience for that.
Okay, now stop right there. Stay right there. Because you're saying it's not racist, but hold on, stay right there. Dude, I'm actually saying thing I asked Elijah, him and Bird answered it basically. Do you think that the system is racist?
Of course, it's racist. The whole system, not just this part, the whole thing is racist. Just going to school is racist. The whole thing is to program us to believe and think the way they want us to think, and that's the way they want us to be, and that's racist.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get a female's opinion. Patsy, do you think that the adoption system, foster care, in the DCF services, do you think that is racist?
Yeah, I think it can be racist to a point, but sometimes it just depends on the situation, you know, where they're looking at people. But then a lot of times they might be looking at the neighborhood and the financial stuff and who you are as a person, you know, but a lot of times they looking at your color first and not so much the other stuff like as a whole.
Okay. Well said, well said. Tanya, you want to get in on this? Do you think that the services, the organizations, you know, the whole system, do you think it's racist, meaning DCF, adoption, and foster care?
Yes, I do. I think the country was built on racism.
Mm-hmm.
When they came up with all these programs, the systematic, what is it? Systematic racism, systemic racism.
Yep, same thing.
It's permeated all through everything: housing, education, adoption, jobs. It's permeated throughout the nation.
I'm gonna go back to what Elijah said and what Bird said, because I think it's a combination of everything that you guys are stating. I think it is the narrative. So I think that I think that these systems and stuff, they're preconditioned. And it's because a few bad apples, and we got them in every nationality, every color, every race, you know. But I think when it comes to people of color, they find it so easily to just think the worst of us. So when it comes down to making these determinations, I think those are the deciding factors. I think that's where it becomes racist, because it always comes down to our race. Now I go back to what Bird and Elijah said about some mishaps in life. You know, people done things as young people, but sometimes I remember one of the guys I used to work with used to say services are rendered based upon color, right? And I didn't believe that. I was like, nah, that can't be true. But then after working in the human service field, and I started to see certain things, and I'm like, oh wow. And then they made comments like, oh, money follows the person and all this other stuff. I'm like, no, money follows the person based upon their race, because when you are a certain race, you're not eligible for certain services because you're not knowledgeable about it, because no one's telling you about it. So now you're not eligible because you don't know about them. So now I go back to talking about we was talking about the foster care, and the question was if Black people care so much about Black children, why are there so many needing to be adopted, and why aren't they adopting them? Again, I think it comes down to the fact that, like Bird said, that they're not financially sound. They can't do it because they don't have the money. They can barely take care of the family that they have. They're struggling. They want to, but they just can't do it. It's not possible. It's another mouth to feed. It's another child to provide, you know, clothing and shelter for, and it might be taken away from those that are your biological. You sometimes you don't have nothing else to give to anybody else after providing for your own.
Can I say something before you go to do? Yeah. When you excuse me, and for the ones that said you get a check, yeah, you do get a check for the kid, but the way the bank account is set up using Kevin Hart, it ain't enough. They're not giving you what you actually need to help take care of. They only giving you a little slither.
Yeah, and when you're
giving you economically what they perceive is enough to support a child or an adult. Same thing they do when they give you Social
society.
Security or
Yeah.
disability, they put you on a scale of, let's say, it costs $60 a day for an adult, $30 a day for a child. And they calculate this in food, clothing, everything that's, I mean, they don't calculate luxuries, right?
Nope.
Family trips, Christmases, birthdays. They don't calculate any of these, I don't want to say special events into someone's life. They have a small minimum at the most, right? They give you the least amount of funds that they think should be enough. If you get food stamps, they may give you, every adult will get a certain amount based on a $20 a day they think it takes to feed someone. So it's kind of what the government can estimate what it costs is what they will give you to care for a child. There's many Black families that will take foster kids and respite kids, but as far as adoption, it's different. Fostering a kid or taking them in for a little while until they can find them a placement, that's happening big time. There's many Black, usually older Black women, not many families like mother, father, family, 2-parent homes aren't fostering kids. It's many of the, you know, single moms or grandmothers that are taking in kids. Actually, I hate to say, for that income, because some of those parents aren't providing the proper nourishment and whatever for these kids. So they stay on the street. Ain't much food for them to come home and eat. Some of them are bringing kids in for a check.
Check it. To piggyback what Bird was saying.
Remove the
Yeah.
father, then remove the child. Leave the mother as the head of the household. It's the plan.
That, I was about to say that was the plan.
That was the design for welfare. Yes. Keep the man out the house. You
That's
want
the
our
design
money?
for
We don't want no
CPS
man in the
and
home.
for the criminal for your incarceration of the Black and brown community.
Hold on. Stay right there, because let's go back to that. What Gregory said and what Burr said. Burr said that was the design for welfare, but that seems to be like their approach to any services.
Bingo.
The urban.
That's where it started.
Community.
That's where it started.
Yeah, I believe you. It's like that was the blueprint. So once they once they learned that they could get over using that approach.
1939, kid.
They started doing
1939. They go to your household down south, Mississippi, Alabama. They offer you $15 if that man can leave out the house that there's no man there because you're showing the government you need help. And we will help you if there's no male in the house, and we'll give you $15 a month, and your check started in 1939.
All right, so
in the
stop right there.
meantime, the white family's getting the same
There you
thing from
go.
the husband there.
And that's
White
what I
families
want.
weren't getting that though. It wasn't provided to them.
Now look.
It wasn't
was
many
for them
single
first.
white parents.
They didn't need it.
It was for them first. It was for them first. It was
Yeah,
designed for white families first, not just white women. It was designed for white families first. And the only
You didn't
reason
see many white 2-parent family homes getting assistance.
Now, when it
it
came
wasn't
to the,
reported.
they do.
It wasn't reported. It wasn't reported, but it was taking place. That's why I agree with Elijah when he said, "Who's taking this count? Where's this? Where's these stats coming from?"
Because
there's a lot of things that happen that they don't report when it things to them.
I got to piggyback with Dude, because for the simple fact is when World War I kicked off, after World War I was over, you dig what I'm saying? Then you had your depression. You know what I mean? When that stuff kicked off, a lot of families got fucked up in the game. And especially a lot of the first time they used the word why woman, you dig what I'm saying to you? That was coming into effect real strong. So she was getting a lot of privileges not to be with the Black man. And that's 110% correct. So this is why all these systems came, especially after World War I. You know what I'm saying to you? And
The
that's where
white
you get
women
your
went to
GI
work.
Bills and all that stuff. Say that again?
They had
The
to.
white women had to
No,
all go to work. When the men went to war, there wasn't no assistance.
Bird, that was World War II. That's not World War I. That's World War
That's the
II.
industrial war.
That's bang. That's when the women came up in, they showed with their arms, their muscles, and they started doing their work, the baseball league, the whole nine. That's when they started showing that women can be independent, or women can help the country sustain while the men is warm. But the GI Bill was just about to kick in, though. You dig what I'm saying to you? When they was offering helping out for World War I, there wasn't no assistance like that. But for the white woman at the time when they started naming the word white, which was for the label was for the woman, you dig, for her to stay away from the cropper shit shares, which was the black man, you know what I mean, or African man, they would give her assistance. You dig what I'm saying? And then it came on over into the black people. The history is all there, man. All there.
All those guys
That's
in the
gotta be.
war were sending their money home.
A lot of those dudes in the war got killed too, kid. When you get killed, when you go to war, and if a lot of men get killed, you get money, which was supposed to
You
be a
get
GI
government
Bill.
assistance.
Bang, supposed to be a GI Bill. But if you see a woman, white woman, if you see a black man who has his sharecrops, he's a threat. Because he's a threat, the government would give her more assistance. That's why the assistance came in for the white woman. Look it up. When the first time white was introduced, it was labeled for the woman. Why it was labeled for the woman? Because she was like in the free African man. When the free African man started being free, which was like around close to the 1888. You know what I'm saying to you? And that's when they started labeling, there never was no such word of white. But that's when they started naming it white, but it was towards the white woman, and that's how the word white been spreaded. And if you're white, you're right, or this is white America, and then let the whitewash begin. But it really started, that's why I got to pick it back with dude. It really started when the white woman needed help, they would help her. And blacks was always doing their own one too. We always independent. And then that's when they creeped over on, hey, Uncle Sam can help you out. You dig what I'm saying to you, bullshit.
All right, so let's bring it back to what we talked about tonight. We talking about this mistreatment of the black children by these white adoptive parents. And someone's touched base on this earlier. They said this has been going on for a while. A lot of the celebrities, white celebrities, are doing it. So, I like Timmy said, there's a lot of unreported, undocumented situations. Let me go ahead and flip the script. If these were wealthy black adoptive parents that adopted 5 white children, do you think there would be more coverage on this matter, Bird?
I don't think we're in that situation where, these white people with the money are the ones adopting. Ain't many black families looking with money looking to adopt kids, black or white. No, I don't think they're looking to let someone adopt 5 white kids into a black family.
Huh?
Does it happen? Kids are getting adopted into black families. There are some, I guess, that can provide and want to provide and are able to provide that do.
I'll give you guys a little personal situation without using any names. There was a family that fostered a little white boy, and this child seemed well placed.
Right.
Everybody liked him, got along with the kid and stuff like this. When they set forth to adopt the child, they would not allow it. Now this child been with this family for I think like 3 years, and then when they said they wanted to adopt the child, that's when they said they couldn't because they found family members that they felt like the child would be better suited, better placed, better fitted.
They can do that. They will rather place a kid with a family member before they would anyone else.
So are they asking the question why it took them 3 years to want to be interested in the kid, in the child?
No, I don't even think that was the question. See, I think that they are basically so let me present it to you like that because you hear all the principles. Do you think that that had anything to do with race when this black couple decided they was going to adopt this white child? Do you think that was a factor? Their race?
Do I think that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do it because, like I said, it's baked in the system.
Okay. Hold on, hold tight. Let me get another female. Ichima, you still with us? I don't know what's going on. Kiana.
I am.
All right, Ita. Did you hear the little story about the couple basically fostering the white child, and then when they decided 3 years later they wanted to adopt them, they said they could not because they found family members that was better suited. Do you think that was had anything to do with race, or because they wanted to place them with family?
They just wanted to pay some more family. I would think. But I didn't see it. I didn't see that.
No. I presented a story to the panel where there was a black couple that was fostering a white boy for 3 years. And when they moved forward to adopt the child, they was told they could not because they found family members that they adopted the child would be better suited with. Do you think that had anything to do with race or because they wanted places with family?
No, I think they wanted to place them with family because that's just how the system works. If they still have family that wants a child, they can't just give them up to just, you know, even though they had the kid for 3 years.
Okay. Rob?
Right.
Are you still
Yeah,
with us?
I miss my little cousin Peter.
Timmy, don't.
He's a real
Don't say
cool.
you're gonna.
You remind me of Peter Brady.
So just like the river, I've been flowing ever since. It took you a long time to come back home to Clearwater.
Bring it on.
Now, what do you ask of me at this time, Mr. Host?
Well, again, there was
He's the genie.
black couple that fostered.
Okay, I got the story, and there's other questions that I didn't get a chance. Hey, hold up. You don't have to do that. I told you. I'm flowing like the river because you ain't called on me in a long time.
Yeah,
so now I'm going to keep talking because I'm going to answer it. And there's many other questions I didn't get a chance to answer. So I'm going to start with, is there racism in the DCF agency?
Hold on. Let me stop you right there. What you need to do, I'm gonna give you this option doing that. Because for time's sake, I need you to answer the question that I just asked you.
Go on, ask somebody else.
All right, well, that's no problem. So again, same question, the question is being presented.
People been dripping and talking for hours.
Do you feel that in that situation with the foster parents that were black and fostered the white child, and now they want to move forward to adopt the child?
Hey Google, what time
and
is it?
The 8:43 p.m. And the parents was told they couldn't because they found family members that were better suited for the adoption. Do you think that had anything to do with race, or did they just want to place them with family?
If it was family members that was suitable for any race, family members always suitable. But if it was just another random family because they were white, know that that was racist. But if it was a family member of the children, I don't care what race you are, the children's always better. If of course, if that family is stable, because some family members are not well to have children, but you know what I mean. But it should go to another family first. Yes, the family should get first crack at anything. Okay. Regardless of what race you are, they should get first crack. Now, if nobody is stable enough in any one of those families, then the outsider can come in.
Well, where was the family for 3 years is what I'm asking.
Tanya, you can't talk right now. You
I'm sorry.
Cut me.
That's right. I can't. I'm sorry.
Y'all cut me rudely. I didn't get nothing to say, and he let 5 people talk for hours.
Do finish, please.
No, I'm pretty much finished. They can go on.
All right, so let's go to Patsy. Patsy, same thing. The individual, they basically they wanted to adopt the child, and then they was told that they could not because they found family members that were better suited. Now, mind you, the foster parents were black, and the child that they wanted to adopt was white. And this is after 3 years.
Okay, this is how I'm gonna put it. If there was a family that first year that child was fostered, they should have allowed some way for that child to be connecting with their family while the black family was fostering the child. and if there really was a family member that wanted to take care of their child, that family should have been allowed to come forward before the 3 years that this family has been fostering this child, and then deciding, oh, we want to adopt this child. We've been getting along. If they've been following this family and the child's relationship, they should have been allowed to adopt this child and started the process to do so. Instead of giving them an excuse, oh, there's a family member. Well, why hasn't this family member been there for 3 years? So, therefore, they shouldn't have put a wrench in the mix to stop these foster parents from adopting this child. So, yes, it was a racist move.
Okay. All right, let's go to the next question. So, Brian, let me ask you a question. How do you think these individuals, Mr. Lane and I believe Miss Whitefeather, how they should be dealt with? Because they're saying that it's neglect. They're also saying there's a whole bunch of other infractions, so like legal ramifications. So what do you think they should do with these individuals?
Do what individual?
The white
So
couple,
the people that slaved the kids?
yes, that enslaved the children. We're back to the
Yeah, I mean, I think those people should be held accountable based on their crime. If that's a crime, that's a neglect, that's abuse. Um, I think they should be held to the fullest extent of the law, or give you a little taste of slavery and see how it fucking feels.
I agree.
I do have a question. One question. Now,
how does that work, dude?
Hold on, dude. Hold on.
No, yeah, that's why I
Everybody
said
else
it.
try to come in and get
Dude.
touched.
Hold on, dude.
No, I'll hold on. That's why I said I have a question, so that when you
Listen,
come back, I
I'm
can have it.
gonna let you, like I told him, I'm gonna let you answer the question that's being presented right now. How do you think that these individuals that perpetrated said crime, the abuse of these children, how do you think that they should be dealt with based upon the enslavement of these 5 children of color?
Who's that for?
Dude?
Oh, for me?
Yes.
Oh, my bad. I wasn't even paying attention because I thought it wasn't even my turn. So go ahead.
No. Again, how do you think that the couple that perpetrated the crime of enslavement of these Black children, how do you think that they should be dealt with law-wise? Or how would you deal with them, like Bird said? Dude, are you still with us? You gotta turn your mic on.
My bad. I was running my mouth too. Shit.
Go ahead.
So listen, right. So yeah, they should be punished to the fullest of the law, because even if it was a Black parent with a Black child or a white child with a white child that was doing it and they had nothing to do with race, that's still totally wrong. But for the fact that they got these Black kids and doing what they did to us back in slavery, showed that it's also child abuse, child neglect, child endangerment, and also racism, whatever they want to call it. What is it? What's that new law they got if you prove that it's racism? You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, terrorism? Because because any mistreatment of other ethnicities outside of ours is considered terrorism, act of terrorism.
Yeah, but yeah, they're to the fullest of the law, to the fullest. They got to be making an example. Somebody has to be made an example of. We've been made an example of all this time. Now other people are going to stop being made an example of, and yes, they're going to get made an example of. Because you know what's going on now, my bag. You know what's going on now when these people go and they get these little petty ass crimes, because they get the slap on the wrist because they're entitled. People don't let that rest, because a lot of these police officers and a lot of these other people that did shit and got a slap on the wrist end up getting back arrested because of the complaints that our people made, and they've been getting harsher punishment. They're not going with that no more.
And hold on real quick, Drew. Let me correct myself because some people might not think what I said was correct when I said terrorism. So let me go ahead and correct myself and say that's a hate crime. Because
Yeah,
I
hey,
think
here you
that,
go. Here you go.
I
That's
think
what I meant to
that
say.
might be more easy to digest.
Yep, and that's a hate crime.
Yes. All right. We're gonna go to Elijah now. Elijah, how do you think that that wealthy white couple that enslaved the 5 black children should be dealt with law-wise?
What state was they in?
Virginia.
And what did it do with the black kids?
They enslaved them. I know where you going with this, but go ahead. They enslaved them. Go ahead.
They enslaved them.
Yeah, they had them doing farm work and they held them in a barn with torn clothing, no shoes. They made them sleep on cement floors. The only source of
No running water in a porta potty.
Thank you, Gregory.
Oh, that's easy. Give them the needle.
Oh.
It's easy. The needle. The needle or the electric chair. That's a no-brainer. Hate crime. Listen, if they can give that the little Russian boy who blew up when they was jogging there in Boston down there in Copley, if they can give him the needle, they can give what they have done to these little black boys, to those couples. They can give him and her the needle, or give them the electric chair. No less.
Okay.
I mean, if you really want to make a statement that we're not going to tolerate racism, you give a needle or you give the electric chair. I promise you, they'll think twice doing this ever again.
The racist state.
Gregory, same question.
I'm more of an eye for an eye type person. Because, like I said, the system is kind of broken. And it's not really that much good that comes out of this system than success stories. That's the thought I was trying to finish earlier. But I believe those people should be shipped off to a real concentration camp or sweatshop over there in China or something. Tell Joe Biden put his good foreign policies in the use.
That ain't gonna scare them. Unalive them. That would scare
No,
them.
I think that it makes more sense for them to be tortured than to be killed. Because people, if we torture them, we can show people them every
Come on,
day.
man. They had
Make
us
them
enslaved
become
for they
slaves.
had
It's
us
something to make
enslaved
you
for
think about.
they had us for slave for 400 years. People can get I like to call it, well, it ain't no like to call it, that's what it is. People can get that condition that they can get comfortable and all of a sudden they got Stockholm syndrome and all that stuff, you know what I mean? So when you unalive them, that's it. And the people who's around them who got that same mentality, they ain't gonna do that again.
Okay. Itima, same question. How do you think that this wealthy white couple that enslaved the 5 black children should be dealt with according to the law? In accordance to the law.
I agree with what's his name?
Elijah Gregory.
Yeah, they need injection or that chair, because anything else, just like you said, it's not gonna scare them. But that right there, that's gonna send a message. You want to be a racist, you want to do stuff like this, then you're gonna be gone.
Okay. So y'all on the most harshest punishment. Okay. All right.
400 years, Dave.
I
400 years.
I hear you. Tanya, same question. How do you think that these despicable individuals should be dealt with? T, you gotta turn your mic on.
I'm sorry, I thought I had it on.
No worries.
They should be held accountable to the highest extent of the law. They should be charged with a hate crime, charged with trafficking, charged with enslavement, all of that. Everything that they did, mental abuse, physical abuse, and they should be held accountable. I'm not the one who authorized life or death, so I'm not gonna say they should get they should be judged according to however God sees fit that they get judged.
Baby girl, this was your aunt, baby girl. This was your little cousin. This was your little brother.
I'm gonna say the same thing.
Okay.
I cannot judge on somebody's life because I didn't give life, so I can't judge on how it should be taken. I leave that up to God. God is the author and the finisher.
All
so
right.
however He chooses fit to finish their life is how their life is finished.
No worries. So you're gonna let God deal with them. Okay.
Thank you.
That's right. That's her answer. She's Timmy, same question. How do you think that these despicable individuals should be dealt with? Tim, you got
They should be in jail.
Think they should be in jail?
They should be in jail. They, they ain't got much time anyway themselves. You know, and they're gonna get it when they get inside the jailhouse anyway. Once they find out what they did, the dude definitely is gonna get messed up, but the chick probably too. But they gonna get theirs when they get inside the jail, inside the prison. They'll get everything that's coming to them. Because one thing, the people in jail don't like people doing harm to kids.
All right. Patsy, how do you think these despicable individuals should be dealt with?
I think they should be dealt with not just the extent of the law, but go beyond the extent of the law. They want to treat these kids inhumanely. Okay, you treat them inhumanely and put them in a hot box for 10 days. Then whip them afterwards, like slavery used to be, and then lynch them.
Oh.
Like, no, seriously.
Set an example. You get it, Patsy. It gotta look brutal.
You get
not
treated
quick and,
just the
quick and
same.
easy.
One more time.
You get treated the same way you treated these kids, but even 10 times worse than what you did to these kids. Being inhumane to these perpetrators.
Okay. Did I give you a chance to answer that question? How do you think these despicable individuals should be dealt with?
Yes, you asked me already.
Okay. Robert,
Clearwater.
That's what I'm about to say. Are you still?
Clearwater's not helping your platform.
Would you like to answer the last question? How do you think these despicable individuals should be dealt with? Okay. So, we got a little more time left, and I'm going to go ahead and let you. I'm going to let you ask your question that you was going to ask, but this is going to be. I'm going to let you close out the show.
Hold on, you said something, Dave. I didn't hear you.
I said, dude, I'm going to allow you to close out the show, and I'm going to allow you to ask that last question. So basically, ask your question or present your theory to the panel.
So my question was, we all know that this system is racist. So for a black couple to have had a white child in their possession for 3 fucking years, mean to let you know that their record was squeaky clean. Now, how come them black folks can go get a black child? There's not too many black couples out there adopting period. So for a black couple to have a white child at that means the state trust. Come on now. Even if a family's doing good, they usually don't give a couple a white child.
Hold on, it's the demographics. I mean, the demographics is different areas. That's why I'm not so quick to call the system racist. I will call it prejudice. I will definitely call it prejudice, but I ain't because the demographics is different in everywhere.
So we're somewhere in Lynn, it can go to anybody.
See, okay, I give you a perfect example. We live in a commonwealth. So a commonwealth of doing things is different than if you was living in a state that's not commonwealth. So when it comes, including adoptions, public schools, the whole night, those are two different night and days. That's when you see the system is biased or seem like the system is broken. But when you're in a commonwealth, it's kind of hard to really judge off of those things, really, because we're in the Commonwealth. So when it comes to there being racist, who knows? It probably was a Democratic that whites and blacks get along like that. I mean, there is a little small percentage of it, you know what I mean? Probably was a trailer park and they was cool, whatever. I don't know. I mean, but for them not to accept, for them they couldn't adopt that kid, that sounds like there was a diddler in the family or something. You know what I mean? Because they had him for 3 years.
All right, so dude, was you done?
Oh yeah, I was done. I just wanted to know, shit, for a black couple to have a white child for 3 years, and that means it was squeaky clean because the state was all up in their business.
Okay. All right, so I will go back.
Let me say, can I say this to what dude was saying about why if there wasn't a black family,
yeah,
adopted them. Maybe there was a black family and the black family the family got denied.
All right, so
no, I meant, you see how there's a lot of black kids in adoption.
Yeah, I get that, but maybe they did try to adopt a black child, but they still was denied.
They were denied the black child, but not the white child.
all right, so listen, ladies and gentlemen. So
They didn't want a black baby.
Gregory, everybody else at this time,
You said, Gregory, they were doing reverse racism? You think they were getting the white children for what?
Exactly. When you raise a kid to be just a child and not a black person, and then they was raised to be white and hate their own race, they'll adopt a white baby.
So stop right there, everybody. Hold on. It seems like it's going to be extended conversation. We'll have to continue this in the green room because we're running out of time. Is there anybody else that wants a chance to answer the final question or give your final thoughts? You got 1 minute. Anyone? Elijah, you already spoken. Dude, you already spoken. Tanya, you already spoken. Gregory, you already spoken. Anybody else? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end the show. All right, guys, this is what I would say about this whole situation, this topic, right? You got individuals that have privilege of wealth, and they're giving them the opportunity to make somebody else's life better. And they went ahead and they abused those responsibilities and that opportunity they had. So yeah, I think that they should be dealt with. So I think the law should deal with them. I think that they should be incarcerated. I think there should be no question about that. I think that they should be made an example of. However, I will tell you this, I've said this before. The Black nation is the cornerstone of the American foundation. But what we need to understand is we have to stop expecting those that will enslave us to save us. This has been the Still a Man podcast show. See you guys next week. God bless you.